So Donald Trump and his cronies want to take our timeline and send it into a sci-fi dystopian future. The kind of stuff that we only see in TV and movies like Squid Game, Hunger Games, or even The Purge. And you best believe that Trump's kids would love to purge. This reminds me of the book 1984. And essentially I want to go through what the Trump people are saying and how it mirrors that. So if you know this book by George Orwell, we all read it in high school. It actually divides people into three classes. So you got the inner party, outer party, and the proles. Basically people who make the rules, people who enforce the rules, and then people who live in poverty and suffer under the rules. That's essentially what this ends up being. And the Trump people want to keep you uneducated, right? They want to keep you distracted and uneducated. They want you to watch fights at the White House. This is for real. You can't make this up. UFC White House event to take place on the South Lawn. And I just never thought I'd see the day when this is a real thing. Like every day I have to, I'm just like, is this real? And I always have to check a couple times to make sure because it just seems so outrageous. But yes, this is what the Trump people are doing. They're distracting you. They want to keep you uninformed, uneducated, and just watch people fighting. Or they literally had a concert and I guess it's big and rich. Real. That's what it was just yesterday. Big and rich, right? And then they say how awesome you all are. Or they'll have this, we are so back. The USA is the hottest country. That's according to Trump, and how awesome everyone is. And this is how gaslighting you, even though people are suffering, right? As I showed you with that triangle thing, they are trying to tell you that you're not suffering, you're doing great. And then they want you to celebrate that Donald Trump is really good at golf. No, seriously, winning on and off the course. 2025 Men's Senior Club Championship, and they got Trump's name at the top. And then on top of that, remember that triangle part of it is you need people to enforce the rules. Then they have, hey, join ICE. America needs you. Protect, serve, deport, right? And they're out recruiting for Trump's goon force, essentially. When you talk about 1984, and again, I just want to just educate you, think about how things are structured. And you can actually find this on ChatGPT. It's really interesting to read through this stuff because it mirrors what we're seeing today. So here's what it says. In George Orwell's 1984, society is divided into three main classes, each with a distinct role in population percentage, right? So it's like the pyramid. You have the inner party. That's the ruling elite. So that's about 2% of the population. You could argue today it's 1% or less, but very, very small portion of people. So that's Trump and his buddies, right? 2% of the population. What's their role? They are the true power holders in Oceania. They make decisions, control the government, and set policy. They enjoy privileges and luxuries denied to others, including access to real coffee, wine, and private accommodations, right? So this is in the book, so they're describing that. They get all the luxuries of life and you don't. Basically, that's what ends up being. Symbolically comparable to the political or corporate aristocracy, okay? Then you have the second class. Again, the same thing I showed you on that pyramid thing. The outer party or the bureaucracy. Percentage of the population is about 13%. And again, this is coming from the book 1984, the exact numbers of, how Trump people want to divide it out today. It's roughly in the same thing, but just so you understand it. What's their role? These are the middle-class functionaries who carry out the party's directives. So they basically enforce the rules. They work in the ministries like the Ministry of Truth, where Winston works, the main character. And under the constant surveillance, they are the main target of party control and indoctrination. They live under strict discipline with telescreens monitoring them at all times. And I was thinking about how, when Trump partnered with Elon Musk, that's essentially what they want to do is figure out ways to put AI everywhere and either replace you, and you could argue monitor you. And then you got three, the proles or the proletariat. That's the general masses. That's about 85% of the people. And again, the percentages will be different depending on, how you want to break it down and by country. But this is interesting when you read the description of it. Role. The working class, largely ignored by the party, they are allowed relative freedom in personal matters because they are seen as politically insignificant. The party motto is, quote, proles and animals are free. That's according to the book. And then Rinston believes hope lies with the pros, but they are kept distracted by cheap entertainment and propaganda, right? And so that's why I show you guys, like, say the UFC fight, or they'll bring professional wrestlers into the White House, or Trump will just talk about, how great I am at golfing, these kind of things. It's all to keep you distracted from the truth of the matter, right? And unfortunately, this is just how it is. The poorest U.S. workers hit hardest by the slowing wage growth. This is a society that the Trump people are putting into place. Basically, all their policies are to benefit the wealthy and to hurt the poor. That's what it ends up being, because they don't care about regular people. And I have to stress this over and over again, because unfortunately, there's people out there who think Donald Trump is a hero and out to help them when it's just completely the opposite. You can see it in the numbers. You can see it in the difficulties in the economies. You can see it in the daily lies that they put out. And I just have to keep reminding people, like, you can't trust the Trump people. They're trying to create the 1984 reality. So let's read what it says. This is from the Financial Times. America's lowest paid workers are suffering a sharper slowdown in wage growth than their richer peers, adding to the pressure on Donald Trump over inequality as he threatens to undermine the reliability of U.S. economic data. And we're really concerned about this, because if indeed the imbalance continues to happen in society, then Trump will just figure out ways to lie about the numbers and make you feel like, oh, everyone else is doing great. It's only you that are suffering. This is why you want good numbers, because when you see if it's a national trend where a lot of people are suffering under Trump, you realize you're not alone. And a lot of this stuff is, again, imbalance in Trump's policies to benefit the rich and hurt the poor. I have to make this really in clear terms so you understand what's going on. Again, this is about education. Just tell you what's happening, tell you the truth. Data from the Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta shows wage growth for the lowest paid quartile of workers, right? So the lowest quartile, right? The people at the bottom of the spectrum. People earning less than $806 a week. Okay, so that's the lowest quartile. We're just getting some differences here. So their wage growth, we're talking about, slowed to an annual rate of 3.7% in June, down from 7.5% in 2022, when post-pandemic labor shortages in industries such as hospitality were most acute. So essentially how this stuff works is, if you can't get people to come into work, right, and if there's a shortage of workers, you got to raise wages. But we're in a situation where we're not seeing, wages go up for people at the bottom of the spectrum. That's what we're seeing right now. Wage growth has also slowed for higher earners, okay, but to a lesser extent. Pay for the top 25% of workers is up 4.7% in the year to June, and for the overall workforce by 4.3%. Those in the highest quartile can earn more than $1,887. So if you're in the bottom 25%, you're in less than 806 a week. If you're in the top 25%, you earn more than, right, 1,800, 1,900 a week. So I want to make this clear. And if you look at this chart here, you'll see that people at the bottom are facing slow wage growth under Trump. And unfortunately, with higher costs, they're going to be really struggling. So for example, if the price of a hamburger goes up from, say, $20 to $25, that affects someone a lot if they only make a couple hundred a week. If you make, say, $1 million a week, for example, then the price of a hamburger at $25 doesn't really affect you, and you don't worried about it. But if you only make a couple hundred, $25 is significant in a larger percentage of your income. And so this goes back to understanding why you would want a progressive tax system opposed to a regressive one, meaning that under Trump's policy, taxes and prices will affect people at the bottom of the economic scale more, and it is a major problem and a major inequality. This is from the Yale Budget Lab, so you can just understand more. We'll read through it. It says the Yale Budget Lab estimates the tariffs will cut disposable income for the poorest tenth of households by more than 3% in the short run. It expects the top 10% to see a short run hit of just 1%. So again, essentially, these tariffs and these things that Trump want to do, you're all going to pay more, right? But it's a larger percentage of your income if you're at the bottom of the economic scale. Congressional Budget Office, or the CBO, said that Trump's tax and spend legislation, dubbed the One Big Beautiful Bill, will lower resources for the bottom 10% of earners by $1,600 per year. It would boost salaries for the richest 10% by $12,000 per year, as the plans permanently extend tax cuts introduced during Trump's first term, but cut access to Medicaid and food stamps. And then you have this coming out today. Boeing workers might go on strike. It says Boeing defense union poised for its first strike since 1996. About 1,300 machinists are set to walk off the job around midnight after members voted down a deal that would have raised wages by 20% and boosted retirement contributions. The union last went on strike in 1996, with the stoppage lasting 99 days. So we'll keep an eye on this. So here's a picture of the union members here and a statement. Our union is built on democracy, and our members have every right to demand a contract worthy of their contributions. We will be there on the picket lines, ensuring Boeing hears the collective power of the working people. And the reason why I'm sharing this with you guys is because it's important to know that you're not alone. A lot of people are out there struggling, and the economy looks very weak under Trump. And then also he just keeps adding in more tariffs. And so costs are going to go up and people's salaries aren't keeping up with the price increases. It is a really chaotic time at the moment. And from Trump's point of view, they want to keep you distracted with fighting. They want to tell you that Trump is really good at golf and like all this money is pouring in, yet you're probably not going to see any of it. And so it's frustrating for me because I can just see what's happening and I just want to keep you informed, because the Trump people, they want the opposite. They want to keep you uninformed. They don't want education. They want to cut these things for you. They're all about banning books and keeping you as little low information as possible, because if you feel like that you're alone, if you feel like, oh, it's my fault, right? Then you don't say anything. But if you understand that you're part of a larger system and Trump is doing this stuff to everyone, you'll realize, wow, we can change these things. And I'm telling you guys, midterms are coming. So that's what's going on. I want to hear your thoughts, and I'll catch you on the next video.